Kevin McCarthy has 2 votes to worry about. He's got the Bakersfield vote, which is increasingly becoming more and more purple, but then he also has to worry about getting reelected as the GOP leader. So what dilemma does Kevin McCarthy face, and is there a line that he has to walk to please both the GOP around the country and voters here in Bakersfield?
He's trying to bridge a divide that may be unbridgeable, right? That's the real question here. Donald Trump is this harsh dividing line in our political system, and it doesn't, and the divide, if you put everybody who's a member of a political party, the divide is actually, inside of the Republican Party is where you cleave, right? It's about 10%. It's these sort of suburban, it's college-educated Republicans. We're sort of the beginning of this. Suburban Republicans, wealthier Republicans, that's your divide, right? They're the anti-Trump wing of the party, but it is a small wing. We're talking 15, 20% at best, but it's the difference between winning and losing races in Georgia, your Arizonas, in places like that. But Kevin McCarthy, he's also got 2 constituencies he's trying for. He wants to be Speaker of the House. To be Speaker of the House, he's got to figure out how the Republicans can start appealing to suburban voters. But he also wants to be leader of the House Republican Conference. Well, 90% of the House Republicans are elected with some 70% of the Trump base as their constituency, their vote. So, there's a point where he's caught now in a place where if you want to appeal to this, to the suburban wing of the GOP, the Chamber of Commerce wing, however you want to describe them, you can't do it if you're tied to Trump. And if you want to appeal to the Trump wing, you can't do it if you're tied to your Mitt Romneys and that set. So you've described the delegate dance really well. He is trying to do something that may be impossible. And I think that's the dilemma he's caught in. What keeps him in power as leader of the House Republicans may also make it impossible for him to become Speaker of the House.
Does McCarthy face a legitimate chance of being ousted as the GOP leader?
I don't. I think Kevin McCarthy decided that at the end of the day, he was going to be wherever 80% of the party is. And 80% of the party is with Donald Trump. And I think he decided, he saw what happened to Liz Cheney. And when he tiptoed in her direction, obviously that didn't go well. And he was looking over his shoulder. There's no other way to look at this other than he made the decision that party unity trumps whatever else he was thinking about. I could tell you, I've talked to Republicans who look at this Trump dilemma this way. If you're looking at your short-term political issues, you got to stick by Trump. If you're looking at the long-term political problems for the Republicans, there's a strong case to be made you should cut ties with Trump. I think Mitch McConnell's been thinking long-term, and I think Kevin McCarthy is thinking about 2022, which in this case is short-term.
Thursday's meeting between Kevin McCarthy and former President Trump has a lot of people questioning whether or not we're going to see more of the former president in the upcoming election. So do you think we're going to see former President Trump? Is he going to become more of a prominent figure in the 2022 and 2024 elections?
I've had my doubts, but I do think Kevin McCarthy's actions and the actions of others are trying to create a self-fulfilling prophecy to make Trump more relevant than really he could be or should be. He's been deplatformed. That's been a very powerful maneuver. He has not found another way to communicate. There are plenty of ways to do it. He's chosen not to do it. So his power, I think, is much more limited than what folks in Washington think. But there's clearly fear there, and they take a couple of polls, and they've decided to do this. I think it's a bit. I think they're now over worrying about this, but this has been a pattern here. There is this fear of alienating Trump because they think he will divide the party and destroy the party if they do this. But I just don't know if he has the same traction that he did. Losers never look as strong as winners do. And there is a fade that I think would likely happen, but the way Kevin McCarthy, by running down there, they may make it where Trump's more a part of 2022 because they've done it. They've dragged him into it.